by Travis Hunter's girl now. She posted the heart eye emojis and the dollar emojis. She's a Travis Hunter's gonna be in the NFL. If you fuck another athlete, that's like his friend. I don't give a that's like his friend. His fraternity, which is very small, it's kind of so. This is why I can't understand when these women go from one athlete.
NFL player Travis Hunter's wife, Leanna Laney, has been in the news for all the wrong reasons regarding untidy partnerships. In case you were unaware, she has been connected to more people than simply her spouse. She even has a connection to one of his teammates through whispers. Let's get started because we have the crazy receipts right here. The spouse and teammate of Travis Hunter. Things start to go insane at this point. Hunter's quick ascent from collegiate star to NFL rookie, with that incredible $46 million contract, wasn't only due to his wealth and notoriety, it had baggage as well. The woman he decided to marry was closely related to his baggage. Around 2022, Hunter and Leanna began dating while they were still in college. However, no one can accurately pinpoint the timeline. When Hunter's celebrity power increased, what had appeared to be a charming collegiate relationship swiftly devolved into a circus. Like a real-time soap opera, every move they made was observed, evaluated, and discussed online. The first major uproar occurred in December 2024, when sloppy accusations and smuggled video purportedly showed Leanna in intimate locations with other men. All the same tattoos.
Same tattoo. Eater! Ain't no way.
Fans were not going to overlook that. Her fidelity became the most popular topic on the internet all of a sudden. Individuals began looking more closely and discovered a whole pattern. Fans cast doubt on her allegiance as a result of her flirtatious online conduct, her appearances in music videos, and her dubious relationships with athletes.
I drink. I don't drink a lot, but I drink. And I used to party and stuff. And he would literally drive me, sit outside for hours while I'm inside like partying, and then take us home. Like, he never tried to be like, oh, just because I drink, you can't drink.
More chaos broke out when Bow Wow intervened and ordered Hunter to dump Leanna. Following the appearance of screenshots displaying her allegedly making amorous remarks about the NBA Anthony E. Edwards Instagram account, even though the screenshots were taken later shown to be from a satirical account, that the damage was already done. It merely provided the fire. DJ Academics even added their thoughts, adding that although some of her previous actions may be dismissed, among other things blatantly went too far. Then came the most shocking revelation of all, the 2025 summer. Immediately following Hunter, and rumor has it that Leanna got married in May, began to spread like wildfire, and she had an intimate relationship with a Jacksonville Jaguars teammate. The charges were made with allegations of direct messages and even rumors of pregnancy. Details that made TikTok is exploding with rumors. Clips of Leanna sobbing exclusively stoked the flames, causing wild conjecture regarding her condition union. Every tear was examined by fans, each word attempting to determine whether the rumors were accurate. The twist then appeared. According to reports, Travis Hunter disregarded direct guidance from Dion. His mentor Sanders cautioned him to obtain a prior to marriage. Hunter gave it a quick brush off, and that decision might now cost him significant if the marriage fails. Whispers imply that Leanna might ask for $40. In fewer than 90 days, $1 million was paid out. Matrimony.August 2025 saw this as not only rumors these days, it had evolved into a full-scale circus of media, with each motion recorded as if it were a reality program. Incorrect. In the meanwhile, the mystery surrounding the purported teammate of the Jacksonville Jaguars kept fans agitated. No one was aware of the name, but everybody was trying to find hints, examining sidelines and handshakes, exchanges, and mysterious posts to determine the identity of the other man. The problem is that this wouldn't even be the first instance of an NFL player being deceived, crossing that line with his own teammate. Risky line with a spouse. Among the greatest scandals that are still discussed in whispers, there is a championship receiver today whose purported liaison ruined a kinship that has recently taken home of the Super Bowl. Russell and Golden Tate Wilson's spouse. This tale rocked the locker room of the Seattle Seahawks to its center. In 2014, that group looked at invincible. Russell Wilson has just taken the lead, the team to victory in Super Bowl 48, and Golden Tate had his most successful year to date. Had 898 yards from 64 catches. On and Tate and Wilson were off the field, locked. Brothers, buddies, and teammates in weapons. Russell's union with his Ashton Meme, a college sweetheart, also appeared indestructible. They had been partnered since 2006, high school lovebirds who made it via long-distance love before getting married in 2012. At every game, Ashton was by his side, supporting him as Tate flourished as his closest friend and best receiver. From everything appeared picture-perfect from the outside, flawless. However, in March 2014, a crack appeared when Tate agreed to a $31 million deal with the Lions of Detroit. On paper, it was concerning salary cap issues only. However, a month later, the shocking struck Wilson on April 22, 2014, declared his separation with a cautious phrased request for confidentiality and prayers. That unexpected announcement ignited the burning rumor mill. The moment was simply too dubious. Almost 2 months following that Super Bowl triumph, and just a few weeks following Tate's relocation to Detroit, the gossip machine came alive. By May, TZ Owens, a gossip website, released a shocking revelation that Russell Wilson has found out about his wife's infidelity, Golden Tate, and Ashton Meme. Fans right away joined the dots. Tate's departure, Wilson's abrupt separation, and the damage to one of the NFL's top dreaded pairs. It all appeared to be betrayal. From inside, the story was nearly too ideal. Backstabbing by a teammate, a dissolved union, and the disintegration of a brotherhood of the championship. Tate attempted to clap back swiftly, referring to the rumors as ridiculous on Twitter, highlighting the fact that, simply put, Ashton was buddies with his partner Elise Pard. However, this is the thing, once a rumor starts to spread, often denying it only keeps it alive. Furthermore, Tate's complaint only appeared to intensify the fire. By as of January 2015, the rumors had become so loud enough that Tate had to confront it directly. He wrote a piece for the Cauldron's blog, Silence is Golden, in which he vehemently denied any misconduct. Next, when he vented to TMZ in February 2015, declaring openly that the rumors were false, expressed dissatisfaction over Wilson hadn't taken further action to stop it all. His old quarterback's silence wounded more than people realized. As Tate excelled on the field, establishing a career top 1,131 yards during his debut with Detroit, the scandal followed him around. He subsequently acknowledged that he and his girlfriend encountered harsh taunts from fans in stadiums where insults are hurled at their far more than charges that were never demonstrated. The harm was done, and the he was stigmatized for years. Quick, let's go ahead to July 18, 2023. Tate in Gold appeared on KJ All Day, hosted by KJ Wright podcast, and it was still possible to hear that his voice was bitter. He acknowledged that he contacted Wilson at the time in the hopes sought assistance, but never received it. The suffering remained unfiltered when he explained how Wilson continued living his life, beginning a new 2015 partnership with singer Tiara, then getting married to her in 2016. The sole Wilson's outspoken defense of Tate was a brief tweet from 2014, yet Tate has consistently claimed it was far too little and late. Golden Tate had to swallow, however. After years of rumors and shadows, the following betrayal did not remain closed. Doors. It burst into the open when one NFL player made the decision to leave. Quiet. In that location, DeMarco Murray and the wife of Brennan Clay enters the image. What began as a bond in college between Oklahoma teammates turned into one of the most terrible betrayals in history of football. Murray DeMarco carved racking his name at Oklahoma. Fast 3,428 up yards of rushing from 2007 to 2010, solidifying his position as the leading back with a destiny for NFL glory. Brennan Clay, meanwhile, hardly made contact with only gaining 127 yards in the field, as a 2010 saw a freshman wearing a red shirt. The dynamic was evident. The golden boy was Murray. Clay was battling for remnants of acknowledgement. However, the actual drama didn't take place on the field. It arrived. Gina D'Agostini, Clay's girlfriend, and a youngster from Oklahoma, who will eventually sit at central to one of the most startling betrayals of teammates in sports history. In those athlete social media overlap circles, there was always temptation, and the scene was prepared for turmoil by Gina's appearance. Murray was selected by the Dallas Cowboys in the draft, swiftly in the third round of 2011. Turning became a crucial component of their attack and eventually emerging as the league's highest rusher in 2014. Clay's tale was terribly dissimilar. He was not drafted, spent a short time with the Denver Broncos before his NFL hopes came crashing down prior to their departure. By 2013, Clay got married to Gina, and Murray went on to 2015 saw the marriage of actress Heidi Muller. Though the contrast was harsh, Murray was getting up to become an NFL superstar, but Clay was getting used to life without football. That disparity in wealth and notoriety would make the betrayal even more painful when it come to light at last. On November 11th, Brennan Clay stunned the sports world in 2014, with a passionate tirade on Twitter, claiming that Murray had an affair with Gina. These weren't ambiguous or mediocre assertions. Clay appeared to drop receipts, including text screen grabs. He said that the communications came directly from Murray to Gina. The posts were unfiltered, intricate, and hard to overlook. And this is what exacerbated it, Clay persisted. The NFL wasn't the only place where the scandal occurred. Years but extended fully back to their time in Oklahoma. In other words, the alleged treachery wasn't a brief fling. Long-term deceit was what lasted for years, observing both their professional and college careers. To make things worse, more persuasive, the screenshots of the words he, even with some redactions, posted appeared to be indisputable evidence that Murray and Gina's relationship extended much beyond unadulterated friendship. This wasn't merely an anonymous gossip blog is causing the pot. These were outright charges, supported by what appeared to be digital evidence. By the end of 2014, Gina formally filed for Brennan Clay's divorce, pointing to intractable disagreements. It was difficult to overlook the timing, approaching only a few weeks after Clay's tirade against Murray openly. Many people believed that filing for divorce wasn't a coincidence. It was affirmative, that Clay's narrative contained genuine weight. What might have been written off as angry tirades became illegal facts that indicated the marriage had deep fissures. Clay asserted that he had as proof hundreds of SMS messages, even though he just gave a handful to the world. His decision to draw things out onto social media rather than retaining it. Private revealed the extent of the situation's decline, where either it was pure heartbreak or blowing up in the open, or a planned action to destroy Murray's impeccable reputation. Murray, however, remained silent, not a word. And that quiet said a lot. He occurred during the peak season of his career, racing for an incredible 1,245 yards and being named to the Pro Bowl. With everything was on the line for him, to lose if the scandal got out of control. To his refusal to clap back appeared to some similar to guilt. Others saw it as a chilly, calculating action to prevent dousing a fire that's already burning. By the beginning of 2015, Clay stepped forward, telling reporters he had all the evidence and was pointing yet, as telling of Murray's lack of denial. However, given that there is no litigation, no actual legal action in a slander case ever arrived, leaving the controversy adrift in a gloomy, muddy area, the general people were left to question, was Murray truly at fault, or is this only an inexplicable betrayal? Either manner, the silence and receipts ensured the murmurs never stop. However, not each alleged betrayal by a colleague comes using screenshots, text, or so-called proof. At times, everything is dark, rumors without any supporting evidence. That's where the controversy around Colin Kaepernick and the ex-girlfriend of Aldon Smith arrives. In the early San Francisco 49ers, the 2000s had it all: ability, compatibility, and the atmosphere of an emerging monarchy. Aldon Smith and Kaepernick were both drafted in 2011. It soon became foundation of a squad that swept to the Super Bowl 47. Kaepernick had taken action by 2012. As the starting quarterback, using his arm to revolutionize the offensive power and agility, whereas Smith was 19. 5 sacks that terrorized quarterbacks in just one season. Under Jim, the coach, the 49ers emerged from mediocrity under Harbaugh to immediate contenders for championships. On paper, their changing area appeared to be unadulterated fraternity. However, behind the scenes, betrayal rumors poised to burst. That foundation is open, even though the whispers, the 49ers reached new heights, began to spread that not all of it was as flawless as it appeared. By the middle of 2013, reports from anonymous blogs suggested serious drama in the locker room. Allegations that Colin Kaepernick and Alden had begun dating, Smith's former partner. Just that rumor was sufficient to get fans excited, implying a secret conflict between two of the best players in the team. In contrast to other controversies that are complicated and involve names and receipts finally came to the surface, this one remained in the darkness. The woman's name was never made public, which simply encouraged more mystery. The timing made it appear even more dubious. At that time, subtle changes in the dynamics of the team were becoming evident. On paper, the 49ers continued to appear strong, completing 2013 with a score of 12-4. However, they lost the NFC Championship, caused some to question whether there was more happening outside of football. Smith was already veering off course, while that distance, dealing with guns and DUIs accusations that tarnished his career. However, the implication that he was likewise at odds with over a woman with his own quarterback added a new dimension to the drama. Abruptly, the story evolved to include more than poor play calls or missed tackles. Personal chaos and football were gushing blood together. By 2014, the group collapsed, resulting in an 8-8 record after years of supremacy. Mentoring. Undoubtedly, injuries and changes had a role, yet lingering rumors regarding a layer of locker room meat was added to the demise. Smith was even alleged to have had questioned Kaepernick over the claimed relationship, but there was no mishap was ever demonstrated. Confusion is increased. Was the dating life of Kaepernick? At about the same time, he was associated with several female celebrities, including Tayana. The lines were blurred since Taylor was included between the clamor of tabloids and the facts. Using his name frequently appears in rumors. It was hard to tell what was real from what wasn't, from what was merely conjecture. The drama peaked in August of 2015. Aldon Smith's release from the 49ers following his third arrest for DUI. It was his legal issues officially. His run came to an end. However, a lot of publications alluded to friction in the locker room, encompassing the Kaepernick rumors, did not strengthen his argument, and even without verification, the narrative persisted. The report's ambiguous nature left just enough smoke to give fans hope a fire broke out. Colin Kaepernick's alleged treachery with Eldon Smith's former partner never possessed hard proof. However, this subsequent instance, it detonated into one of the most discussed trials in the United States past. Nicole Brown and Marcus Allen Simpson, names that are inextricably linked to the O.J. Simpson story, became a relationship among his teammates, into a controversy of the most notorious kind in celebrity culture and sports. Allen O.J. Simpson was more than just a teammate with the Raiders of Los Angeles. They were close pals as well. O.J., already a legendary football player following his Buffalo Bills, began playing with the Raiders in 1978. In 1982, a few years later, Marcus Allen was selected for the identical squad, and there the field was just one aspect of the connection. Social groups, parties, and they came from the glitzy world of the LA elite. Closer still, O.J. and Nicole Brown had first met in 1977, and in 1985 they were married, stepping into that identical world of prosperity and celebrity. By means of Raiders events and Simpsons' personal events, Nicole and Allen, and they frequently encounter each other. Their connection that appears to be only a component of the broader social network. However, behind that slick Hollywood appearance, O.J. and Nicole had a very tumultuous marriage, records of domestic violence. A darker reality was shown by violence, and Simpson even entered a guilty plea in 1989 to abuse by a spouse. Behind the grins, violence and jealousy were eroding at their partnership. Their separation in October 1992, a turbulent 7-year marriage, formally citing differences that cannot be reconciled. However, their conflict was far from ended, and it would quickly become lethal. In June, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron on the 12th of 1994, Goldman was viciously killed outdoors. Her house in Brentwood. The crime was shocking the country and made O.J. the prime suspect. Days after, the notorious his arrest following the white Bronco chase became, the headlines are dominated by must-watch TV globally. Additionally, in the midst of the murder trial in 1995, Already the America's largest media circus ever observed, a fresh rumor sprung into the public view. Nicole Brown whispers, Simpson had a romantic relationship with OJ's own teammate Marcus Allen and alleged friend Intaviru. 17's been all of a
Why
sudden.
would anyone
This was more
assume
than
that
murder.
Marcus
It has to
Allen,
do
the
with
very
treachery
good
inside
friend of
OJ's
O.J.
closest
Simpson,
social
would
circle.
allegedly sleep
During a
with his
preliminary
ex,
trial,
Nicole,
O.J.
according
Simpson
to Marcus
allegedly
Allen's
admitted to
lawyer, Ed
investigators during an
Hookstratton,
interview
quote,
that he
in building
believed
their
Nicole had a
defense,
connection
Simpson's
to
lawyers
Marcus Allen.
obviously felt it
Even
would be
so,
beneficial
Allen
if
was
they
put
could
on the
show
stand
that their client
and
had
swore that
not
he and
been
Nicole
jealous
were
of
just
Nicole.
friends while denying everything. Nevertheless, the harm was done. The suspicion had already been sown.
So you mean to tell me that Johnny Cochran would try to pull one black man down to save another, allegedly? Oof. Well, Ed went on to say, quote, what angered me was the fact that all this was making Marcus and Catherine into two more victims in this awful mess.
Even after Simpson was found not guilty on October 3rd, 1995, the rumors persisted. The media's coverage of them only intensified, and according to OJ himself, although he never mentioned Allen by name in his 1996 book, I Want to Tell You, Simpson made it apparent that he felt boundaries had been broken and alluded to intense jealousy over Nicole's friendships. Then, in an Esquire interview from 1998, Simpson stated unequivocally that he suspected Allen, even asserting that Nicole had told him she was drawn to the Raiders actor. Allen was with the Kansas City Chiefs by that point, and he refrained from speaking outside of his sworn testimony. However, sports blogs and tabloids wouldn't let it go, and the tale continued for years. Some newspapers framed the claimed affair as a potential contributing factor to OJ's jealous wrath, and it became a permanent place on NFL betrayal lists. OJ, Made in America, an ESPN documentary from 2016, mentioned the allegations and Simpson's fascination and jealousy, but it never provided any hard evidence linking Allen and Nicole in a romantic sense. Public conversation was rekindled by Allen's 2003 admission into the Hall of Fame and Simpson's 2007-2008 armed robbery prosecution, which kept their names associated with sloppy headlines. The truth, however, remained constant. There was never any concrete proof presented. The entire story was based on years of rumors, OJ's suspicions and Al Cowing's hearsay, all of which Allen denied under oath. Other males, but not Allen specifically, were referenced in Nicole's own diaries that were offered as evidence in court. Still, he was stigmatized. Evidence of the potency of a rumor when it is connected to betrayal, jealousy, and murder. While Marcus Allen spent decades denying a controversy he claims never occurred, another case illustrates what happens when someone genuinely acknowledges intentionally targeting their partner's teammate. Here comes NFL quarterback Matthew Stafford's wife, Kelly Stafford. Although their University of Georgia relationship has been the subject of countless analyses, a revelation made years later stunned followers. Kelly acknowledged that she had purposefully dated one of Matthew's teammates in order to incite jealousy in him. So all of a sudden, their tale was more than simply a quarterback's romantic life. It concerned mind games, loyalty, and the untidy, unspoken guidelines that are prevalent in collegiate athletic circles. There were many opportunities for drama because of how hot and cold Matthew and Kelly Stafford's college romance was, and a choice she made at the time would eventually become a confession that made headlines. Here comes Georgia Bulldogs backup quarterback Joe Cox. Indeed, Stafford's personal friend and teammate. Cox primarily played on the bench from 2006 to 2009, finally taking over as starter when Stafford left for the NFL. However, she made a move during one of Kelly and Stafford's off-peak times that, when it was revealed years later, stunned everyone. Kelly wasn't simply going on with her life, she was methodical and strategic. She deliberately picked Cox because she knew it would strike Matthew in the most painful spot. Dating a teammate's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend was the ultimate transgression of unwritten rules in the close-knit world of collegiate football. Kelly also acknowledged that it wasn't arbitrary. It was intended to arouse jealousy and compel Stafford to respond. It was considerably more dramatic because of the contrast. The quintessential Southern gentleman, Stafford was cool, collected, and every inch the golden boy quarterback Cox. In stark contrast, he had a defiant bad boy edge. Kelly later made a joke about Cox hardly ever playing football following their liaison, implying that her decision might have even affected his football career. Whether this was karma or a coincidence is still up for dispute. Their paths diverged in the most revealing manner following college. After being selected first overall by the Detroit Lions in 2009, Stafford began a well-known NFL career and wed Kelly in April 2015. Their tumultuous triangle was kept a secret for years until June 12, 2024, when Kelly revealed it herself on the Off the Vine podcast with Caitlin Bristow. She didn't present it as an error when she publicly acknowledged that she had dated Cox during one of her breaks from Matthew. Rather, she referred to it as a strategy that was successful, a play that drew Stafford's attention and pulled him back in. The story was quickly picked up by media sources like Sports Illustrated, The New York Post, and Outkick, who blasted it across headlines as a startling NFL spouse revelation. Others claimed it was only innocuous college drama that had no bearing on Stafford's career, while others referred to it as a straight-up scandal. However, the response regarding gender double standards was what truly struck a chord with this story. Discussions concerning loyalty, relationships, and sports culture were sparked when it was pointed out that Kelly received harsher condemnation for much worse behavior than the majority of male athletes. Kelly Stafford's candid admission of her premeditated teammate fling startled everyone. However, this subsequent instance demonstrates the devastation that may occur when rumors spread without any supporting evidence. Ben Cleveland, her lineman for the Baltimore Ravens, was involved in an unexpected cheating incident there without any supporting documentation. Cleveland, a Georgia native selected in the third round of the 2021 NFL Draft, established a solid reputation as a dedicated offensive lineman. He kept his private life private. He wasn't famous and he wasn't flashy. He married Kendall Moore, who he had known since college, and who subsequently became Kendall Cleveland, and the two led a quiet life away from tumultuous turmoil. He played in 12 games in 2021 and 7 in 2022, and no one had any negative things to say about him off the field. However, on October 17, 2023, the Daily Mail published an article alleging Kendall was involved in a cheating scandal, and everything fell apart. According to the article's unidentified sources, their marriage had been shattered by the alleged infidelity. Even worse, the article made the wild guess that the second man might be a Ravens teammate of Ben's, but it included no pictures, names, or images, only strong suggestions and hazy murmurs. Fans quickly began making educated guesses about well-known people based just on their notoriety, such as Mark Andrews or Lamar Jackson. However, those rumors were promptly dispelled when it was pointed out that there was no supporting proof. Unlike Kelly Stafford's own confession or DeMarco Murray's scandal, which was based on purported text messages, the Cleveland tale was based solely on rumors, only a tabloid looking for clicks, with no evidence or follow-up. Furthermore, major media sites like ESPN and The Athletic chose not to cover it at all, which was a clear indication of how weak the entire situation was. Ben and Kendall Cleveland never responded to the rumor. Ben avoided the spotlight, kept his head down, and concentrated on football. Following their custom of avoiding getting involved in athletes' personal affairs, the Ravens organization never released a statement, and Kendall kept her Instagram private. Here's what made this particular case unique. It didn't get out of hand. The rumor just died down without any litigation, shocking new proof, or tense back and forth between players. It did, however, prove one thing in the realm of NFL betrayals. The controversies that are based solely on whispers might occasionally be the most damaging. I appreciate you watching. For more chaotic breakdowns like this one, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and press the like button.